We are now under a yellow, and the reason for the yellow is a piece of debris out on the racetrack. And how did it get there? Well, Arie Luyendyk was going down the front straightaway. Now watch him. He was having trouble with the driver in front of him. Had to dart a couple ways to get by, and in his anger, he knocked out the headrest.
He didn't approve of Scott Sharp.
So because that's on the straightaway, the yellow flag came out. Now this was Arie on his first stop. Listen very carefully to the engine. Bobby Unser, that can't be a healthy engine, can it?
What's happened is the computer just went astray on him right there. It's no different than what people can understand as a carburetor choke being on when they try to leave their driveway. It was just dead rich, wouldn't keep running. He had the throttle down, but there's nothing he could do about it.
Now, they have had some problems on those cars with the fuel pumps, too, Bobby Unser.
And you got to remember, Paul, this could be giving them problems throughout the entire day. Plus, it makes the computer give the engine too much fuel, but at high RPM may not be a problem.
So the leader of the race is the blue and white 27 car of Jacques Villeneuve. 35 laps are complete.
Indy cars best are back on the track. They motor on to Milwaukee's 1 mile oval. It's the Miller Genuine Draft 200 next Sunday on ABC.
We're back. We're still under caution, expecting green very shortly here. Under the caution, Jacques Villeneuve went into the pits. He was the leader of the race at the time. It was a very frustrating stop for him, though, filled with errors. As the team tried to get him away, they were still connected when he pulled forward. Shades of Lloyd Ruby. Fortunately, they didn't pull the hose free. Let's go to Jack Arute.
Well, Paul, here's the problem on the Patrick Racing team with Scott Pruitt. During the time that it took to try and get the pack up, Scott Pruitt literally ran out of fuel, and he had to come in dead stick. Now, Pat Patrick is the car owner, and Pat, this is not what you wanted to see. You were shown in 5th position, and then you ran the car out of fuel under yellow.
We had no choice, Jack. These stupid rules they have here, they close the pits. You can't come in if you're out of fuel. If you do, you get black flagged. It's horrible. I can't believe it.
Well, here's the situation, gentlemen. Here's what happens under the rules. Until the pace car gets the leader, the pits are closed for service. Well, there was a mistake made. They had a problem picking up who the correct leader was. So lap after lap ticked off with the pits closed. We were in the end of the window for pit stops for many of the front runners. And what happened was Pruitt ran out of methanol.
Yeah, they originally picked up Andretti and then had to cycle everybody through until they had Villeneuve, and then he went into the pits almost as soon as they had him.
You got to really sympathize with Pat Patrick on that. He has to be right.
And Jack, that closed pits business, of course, removes some of the tactical advantage of having a man like Jim McGee on your team.
We come back to the green light. And we're back racing again, riding on Bobby Rahal's nose as we head down into turn 1 at better than 215 miles an hour. The leader is Andretti. Scott Goodyear is in second. There is Michael. The order now with the pit stops. Some of these slower cars and backfield cars are mixed in with the leaders of the race. There's the running order after 42 laps. As we look at the Valvoline leaderboards,
also, let's keep in mind, Paul, that these guys have been watching weather. We're getting a lot of sunshine. They're changing their plans. When they see sunshine, the clouds breaking up, the teams start going into 500-mile plan mode for their pit stops, etc., instead of a scared half-a-lap race.
The car directly in front of Michael Andretti, the car in the lead of this group, is Teo Fabi. He's running 11th in position to be going down a lap to the leader, Michael Andretti. Teo Fabi on the left.
Andretti is 5 seconds ahead of the second place car of Scott Goodyear, and then Jacques Villeneuve is just a little bit back, about 2 seconds back from Goodyear. 4th place is now Ribeiro, then Gugelmin, Bosell, Johansson, and Sullivan.
You see Michael Andretti's stats. Of course, the one stat that never really comes up is the unlucky times that the whole Andretti family has had here at this track. You wonder now, perhaps with Mario out of competition, you see Scott Goodyear coming by Hiro Matsushita there. if maybe Mario took that bad luck with him, and there's a chance for Michael to win here today. Certainly he's doing great so far.
Okay, clarification of a report coming from race control. They indicate that the problem was not so much with how the pace car picked up the field, but with the fact that Villeneuve did not pick the pace car up properly, and that caused for the delay. There is Jack Villeneuve. He runs in third place right now.
Actually, that pit stop problem didn't really cost him that much. It was under the yellow, and he was terrific getting the clutch in, getting the car started again.
Yeah, it really didn't hurt anything, Sam, but it certainly did hurt the Pat Patrick car.
Good presence of mind for the young Canadian.
Before the pits were closed, this is what Jack was talking about. When the yellow flag came out, certain crew chiefs, certainly Jim McGee among those, would call their cars to dive into the pits.
Andre Ribeiro there, he currently runs in fourth place in the 31 car. The second of the Honda-powered cars here, the fastest rookie in the field. Yellow, blue, and red, the colors. Very likable young man.
Ribeiro, of course, had the accident in practice the day before qualifying, shook him up. You see him on
Davy Jones making a move inside of Matsuda.
Davy Jones in the red car. He would have been down at the Charlotte 600 after this race. That was his plan, to try to do both races the way John Andretti did last year, but he crashed his Winston Cup car.
If everybody notices that the cars go down the straightaway, they seem to be about the same speed. They're picking up drafts. And then when you get to the end of the straightaway is where the cars pull out and do their passing. And sometimes when you have two cars there, it's really a good draft to get.
So Ribeiro still on the move. We'll keep an eye on him as he runs in fourth place.
Way out there, Paul.
Ari got way high.
He's slowing.
Almost crashed out there. He was in the gray stuff. Only experience kept him going. Look how much slower he's going after that scare.
So he gathers the car back under him and tries to get her back under operation. The question was, for a moment there, everybody's so concerned about the engine on these cars. Was it the engine? Here comes Raul Boesel into the pits. He's answering a black flag for a stop-and-go penalty. He ran over a hose on the way out of his pit stop. So Boesel has now answered that black flag. Leader is still Michael Andretti. There he is. Jack Arute.
Well, Paul, this is Buddy Lazier, who is the third member of Team Menard. Buddy, what dropped you out of the race?
Well, the car was really fantastic. We were able to pass a lot of people. Our fuel pressure dropped down to about 10. And it was, I mean, we were running 7,000 RPMs and it was dropping an RPM. But for the first 5 or 10 laps, it felt really good. It's the best car I've ever been in. It was so exciting, and to have it in with a bad fuel pump and it gets you right here.
Gentlemen, remember, this team has experienced fuel pump problems all month. That's one of the things that they worked on since they qualified on the pole position. They remanufactured, refashioned fuel pumps. This does not look good for the team if this early one of the members has had a fuel pump problem.
Jack, I think one of the things you brought up earlier, they only run these Menards once a year. That really hurts them overall.
All right, now the word comes from the stewards of the race and race control while we watch Michael, the leader, and we look for Jack Villeneuve, who runs in third place in that blue and white number 27. Because he did not pick the pace car up properly, there he is. They're going to assess a 2-lap penalty. A 2-lap penalty on this car. They'll just take it off of his total and drop him down through the field.
Well, that's got to be a disastrous thing. I'll guarantee you, Barry Green is going to really worry about this one. This is a serious penalty.
So Andretti leads, Goodyear second. With that penalty, Ribeiro moves up into third. Now here's a look at them trying to get Villeneuve about 10 minutes ago behind the pace car.
Now that's Villeneuve on the outside of the pace car. He went by the pace car. Now he's coming back to it. So far, he hasn't broken any rules.
And the move of not following those orders precisely cost him 2 laps in the race, and he has dropped well down in the field. In fact, out of the top 20. So Jack Villeneuve with a tremendous penalty. They haven't assessed one like that in several years at Indianapolis. Now he runs in 24th position. The leader of the race is Michael Andretti. We'll return with more of the Indianapolis 500 after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
The end of the
50 laps. For all of you entered in the Valvoline Indy 500 Race to Riches contest who correctly guessed the leader, please call the 800 number now for your chance to win. Good luck.
Here's the race summary after 50 laps. We've had 5 lead changes, 5 different drivers. Michael was leading at the 50-lap point. 2 caution periods totaling 17 laps, including that accident that involved 6 different cars on the start of the race. And very shortly, we should be able to give you a further update on driver Stan Fox, who was transported to Methodist Hospital of Indiana from the Track Medical Center here. Now, here is the 31 car. That's Ribeiro, and they black flagged him because he was way, way over the speed limit of the pits. He was going 132 miles an hour, and he was in 3rd place at the time he answered this black flag.
Well, Andre is a rookie, but that seems like a huge oversight for anybody.
Well, it shows you that they just can't tell speed themselves. A lot of these cars have the computer set where if they're in a certain gear, they can only turn a certain RPM during the pit deal. Apparently, he doesn't have one.
Computer speed limit at 100 miles an hour. Let's look down at the stories now throughout the race. We mentioned them at starting, beginning with the tracking of the engines here. Well, one of the Menards is out, 2 remain in, and Hondas are up at the front of the field. Michael Andretti is the leader of the race. Started 4th, now 1st. Led 33, as you see, of the 59 laps, and he is running a torrid pace. Let's go to Jack Arute.
Well, Paul, at one time, this group, Team Green, saw themselves running in the top 3. And now you're all the way back to 27th after a 2-lap penalty. What does that do to your chances in this event?
Well, I wouldn't count us out yet, Jack. Obviously, we're devastated. I can't understand what the hell they think they're doing out there, but they waved us by twice, you know what I mean? All the driver does is do what the pace car said, and I think I don't think it's a very good decision what they're doing, but we just got to soldier on. We just fight a little bit later.
Well, we saw on the video when he finally got packed up properly. We didn't get a chance to see it on the video when he went by the pace car, but what was the conversation with USAC like?
I just voiced my opinion. I mean, the driver says he was waved by. That's what I've told USAC. Thanks, Jack.
Paul?
We saw Lyondike was into the pits while we were talking with Barry Green. And we did not see then the actual video of what USAC perceived to be the violations. We saw it when he was finally picked up.
The car directly ahead of Michael Andretti, who you see here, is his teammate, Paul Tracy, in the white car with red on it there. You see Paul Tracy. Michael Andretti is about to put his teammate 1 lap down, but the team of Newman Haas, so far shut out for many, many years, is very well positioned in the race here so far.
Paul Tracy, she started 16th, now moves up into 6th place. Now let's consider these other stories of the day. We were talking about the engines. Well, Goodyear has been looking very strong. One Menard is out of the race.